You see this number here? Most creators obsess over it because it seems like the obvious thing to track their growth. But what if I told you it's actually the worst predictor of whether or not your channel is going to blow up? I've grown multiple YouTube channels, this one here to over 1 million subscribers. I've helped lots of other creators grow as well, and I've discovered that they always follow the same 8 signs. So I grouped them here into this pyramid because they build on each other. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through each of these steps so you can identify if your channel is ready to pop. And we're going to start off at the bottom layer here, which I call the foundation. These are the core building blocks behind channels that set them up for success. Starting with the first one here, I call it the spotlight. So if you've ever used a flashlight or a spotlight at all, you'll notice if you point it at something, it shines a very clear light in one particular area. For YouTube channels, shining a spotlight is finding the exact target viewer who's going to watch your channel. But there's a key difference here in these channels in how they think about who they make videos for. Most people will talk about finding the right niche for your audience. I actually think that's the wrong way to think about your audience. Instead, it's a lot better to think about what is the transformation that I want to guide my viewers through. For example, when you think about what is a niche, most people will say their niche is productivity, it's finance, it's business. Those are very loose and broad terms. If someone told me they make videos about business, I would have a lot of follow-up questions. What kind of businesses do you help? What kind of business content do you make? Is it educational? Is it entertainment? The more questions your target audience is asking about whether this content is for me or not for me, the less they're actually paying attention to what you're saying. So this is why of all the channels I help blow up, we help them focus specifically on what is the target transformation. What is the viewer going to get out of your channel? Going back to the business example, I would consider this channel that you're watching right now a business channel, but let's go a bit deeper. What transformation do we really want to help here? Well, we want to help serious YouTube creators turn their YouTube channels into a sustainable business. That is very, very specific. But if you're a YouTube creator and you're looking to take your YouTube channel full time, maybe get some more monetization, some brand deals, learn to think about building the systems behind it, you're probably going to resonate with that message that I just said a lot more than someone who says, I make business content. A really good exercise to run through when you're working on the foundation layer of your channel is to ask the question, can you explain the core purpose of your channel in one sentence? So when I'm working on content strategy for different brands, I look through their titles and thumbnails and their channel banner, and without even watching a video, can I already decide and figure out who is this content actually for? And once I can figure that out, it actually leads very nicely into the next sign that that channel may or may not blow up. And I look for sign number 2, which I call domino content. So I don't know if you've ever played with dominoes as a kid. I used to love playing with dominoes. We'd set up these long mazes of pieces and then we'd knock one over and then it would cause this chain reaction and they'd all fall over. That is the exact behavior we want new viewers to have when they come to your channel. They watch video after video after video and they keep falling into each other and they get lost down this rabbit hole of content. So how do we know if they're actually doing that? That's where domino content comes in. So for example, let's look at my first channel, Koi here. So the audience of this channel are students and learners who are interested in productivity and want to turn that into building a creator business. And I found that a lot of them come into my content through this one video about how to build a Notion system to manage their studies. But after they watch that video, they probably have a lot of other questions. All right, now that I have this system, how do I actually use it? What do I use it for? All of those questions that they would have next are answered in other pieces of content in my library. The big difference here between channels that don't blow up and the channels that have a good strategy, they're starting to think about their content in a series. How do I help someone get to this transformation here? What are all the steps that they might go through to get there? And can I create a series of videos that gets them to that transformation, and they have to watch this one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. And a really good sign that you've created domino content is when one of your videos starts to pick up, then a lot of your other videos in the past also start to get little boosts. And it's subtle, but you should be able to see this actually happen across your channel. When one video starts to pick up and increases impressions, you can actually go to your previous videos and in the impressions tab, see slight upticks in all the videos that are nicely falling in domino order. This is because YouTube is pushing your past videos that are perfectly aligned with your target audience. And that leads pretty nicely into what the third sign that a channel is going to blow up is. And this actually doesn't have to do with the channel itself, but rather the creator behind the channel. And this is that the creator is no longer thinking of themselves as just a creator, but they're becoming a director. So what do I mean by director? So think about Hollywood movies. The director is someone who has a grand vision. They have a master plan about how they want this movie to turn out. So what are these directors doing? They're starting to do long-range planning. They're starting to think about videos ahead of time. They're thinking about building systems around their content. And so what's the key sign that someone has evolved from just a creator to a creative director? A creative director is no longer just reacting to content and the algorithm, and they are predicting. And what they do with those predictions is create a plan. They might now start to strategize. I'm going to spend 50% more of my time coming up with good ideas. I want to spend less time editing things that don't work. I'm going to look at my analytics and I'm going to see how I can continuously improve my content. And maybe it's not a sign that you can see directly from a YouTube channel, but it's a sign you can see when you interact with this creator. Do they have systems built behind them? Are they starting to plan out a content calendar? Have they batched filmed things together? Those are great internal signs that form the foundation of this layer that you are on track to blow up your channel. That fills out the bottom layer. We're going to move on to layer 2 now, which is the analytics layer. And the first sign in analytics you're going to see is I call magnetic retention. What that means is if I go to the past 10 videos and look at their analytics, the average view duration of all of those videos is slowly starting to increase. That means that the content has become magnetic and people can't stop watching through to the end of your videos. So for example, I want to show you the retention curve of one of my past clients before we started working together. These guys run a podcast, which are very hard to get people hooked into because it's a long commitment to sit down and listen to someone talk for an hour and a half. You can see from the retention curves at 30 seconds in, a lot of people have already dropped off, which is actually very common for a lot of creators. But after coming up with a good foundation layer with this creator and started to work on their content creation, slowly we started to see this rise and rise. And now their content has gotten so magnetic that over 70% of people still watch after the first 30 seconds. And the average watch time for their podcast is over 15 minutes, which is absolutely crazy. Now, obviously, if you don't have a podcast, you might not have videos that are that long, but the whole point here is that magnetic retention is an upward trend. We want to see over the past 10 videos that your retention has gone up video after video, which is a very good sign that your videos are getting better. People are watching longer and your audience is really enjoying what you're putting out. Moving on to sign number 5, this is that you have become a household name. Have you ever come across a video that was so good? Then you look down at the views and it's less than 1,000, and you look at the subscribers and it's less than 1,000. And you think, man, there's absolutely no way this channel hasn't blown up yet. And then you scroll down and you see that there are multiple people who have commented that exact same thing. These are actually comments from a client that we used to work with on one of their videos. The content you made resonated so deeply with your audience that they had to let you know that in the comments. They associate your channel with a specific transformation and they know it's going to be good. So what's the sign behind becoming a household name? It's when someone sees your video and they click on it just because they know it's you. They don't even care about the title and thumbnail. Their click-through rates are out the roof. They're incredibly, incredibly high. But it's not just that they have high click-through rates in general. It's a very specific pattern for how click-through rate looks like when they publish videos. So within the first 24 hours of publishing a video, that click-through rate is far higher than anything else. Sometimes 10%, sometimes 20% click-through rate. What that means is YouTube is serving that content to your target audience and they're clicking on it without hesitation. Because when you publish a video, YouTube usually serves your content to your subscribers first. And if they like it, then it pushes it more broadly. And finally, the last analytical sign of these channels is that they have become inter-platform. If you go to your past video analytics and see where the traffic sources are coming from, you'll often see very specific websites, maybe Discord, maybe Reddit, maybe X, Instagram, Facebook. People are starting to share your content to other platforms because they can't help but share something so good. So why is this such a good sign? Well, it means that people are bringing your YouTube content to other platforms. So the signs from the foundation layer indicate to me that this channel and this creator has a great strategy. For the analytics layer, these 3 signs tell me that YouTube has now also recognized that this channel is ready to blow up. But when we get to layer 3, I call this the recognition layer. This is where other creators start to recognize that this channel is about to blow up. Sign number 7, I call the copycats. There's this great quote. I can't remember who actually said it, but I just remember a scene from The Office when Dwight says it, but imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. When you start to get copycats about your content, you know you're on a good track to blow up, because now other creators are starting to recognize that you are doing something right. For example, on our first channel, Koi, we started posting a series called the Ultimate Study Skills Series. And a lot of those videos started snowballing from one to the next in this domino content style. In a few weeks after we would post content, I would come back to my homepage and I would see very similar thumbnails to the ones I made. I'm like, oh, that's my thumbnail. Creators will copy your thumbnails. Maybe they'll copy your hook. Maybe they'll copy your main points. Maybe they'll copy the format you do or some way that you speak. And let's not try to play dumb here or anything. I think almost every single creator on the platform right now, their main strategy is to just copy what's working already. Copy who's doing well. Obviously, they figured something out, so you just want to do it with your own take. Good artists copy, great artists steal. So obviously, if your content is becoming the standard that people aspire to, you're obviously in a really good spot to blow up. All right, final sign, which all of these other ones have been building up to. I call it the snowball. Think about how a snowball falls downhill. That snowball rolls downhill and it gets bigger and it starts moving faster. It starts to build momentum. And this is a classic sign that I see in all the channels that we've worked with. So let's say you post a video today and that video did pretty good. Views are higher than normal, the impressions were higher than normal, and the click-through rate was higher than normal. You see all these green ups and downs. And then you post another video and all those green arrows keep going up. And you post another one and you see that same trend happening over and over and over. But if you look closer at the analytics, something is changing every single time you build momentum. YouTube actually shows that video to more and more people. It starts to expand how many impressions it gives to your video. Maybe at first it's 10,000. Then the next upload, it'll give that first one 20,000. And then the next one, it might give 100,000. And that's when we see viral videos usually occur, is when videos have consistently done well time over time. It's dialing in this audience fit, and the algorithm gets more confident in itself that it can show your content to more people who would be interested in it. That is how videos go viral, and that is how your channel gets on the radar. If you see that trend happening, that is a great sign that your channel is going to blow up. So if you find yourself at the stage where you're hitting half or if not more of these signs, my friend, you are going to blow up on YouTube. And if you're missing some of these signs or you don't have some of these signs, then I would definitely focus on the bottom layer and then move up to the top. And if you're interested in learning how to do that, we've actually made tons of videos. I'll link one right here that goes into exactly how to create better videos and plan out a good content strategy.